Sitka, Alaska, January 1906. Britta Lindquist awoke suddenly and sat up in bed, breathing heavily. Her eyes adjusted to the dim light, and she relaxed as she recognized her surroundings. Home, as if she'd never gone away. Favorite childhood books lined the shelf. Dolls sat on the dresser. In the corner, an ornately carved hope chest held years of dreaming. Mother had said once that if one dream seemed unobtainable, a person could always dream a new dream. And Britta had tried. God alone knew how hard she had tried, but nothing diminished her longing. "Britta? Britta, are you awake?" The door opened a crack, and a dark-haired woman peeked inside. "Is everything all right?" Britta nodded. "Oh, I had a bad dream. You must have heard me tossing and turning. It was nothing." Kayledge slipped into the room and closed the door behind her. She studied Britta for a moment. "You in trouble?" Kay's astute observations never failed to amaze Britta. She had been with the Lindquist family for 15 years. Orphaned at 13, she had been called a child of the beach by her mother's people, by no means a term of endearment. The Klingets had shunned Kay's mother for her disgraceful behavior as a prostitute, and her white father had long since deserted them. "I'm not in trouble," Britta assured her. "Then what's wrong? I could see from the look in your eyes last night that you carry a heavy burden." Britta shook her head. "I can't talk about it just yet." Kay went to the window and opened the drapes. "It's almost 10. Do you always sleep this late?" Britta laughed and got up. "No, though I will say I was rather spoiled when I went abroad. Europeans never seem to have the same sense of urgency that we Americans embrace. But we were often awake into the wee hours after a concert." Approaching the wardrobe, Britta continued to direct the conversation away from Kay's concerns. "California was lovely. There's always something blooming. And in Holland last spring, I could scarcely believe the fields of tulips, acres and acres." She fingered several of her dresses, settling on a wool jumper and cream-colored gown. "This should keep me warm." Glancing at Kay, Britta saw that her friend wasn't at all interested in travel comments or fashion choices. "Kay," she said, "in time I promise I will take you into my confidence, but for now I need to consider things on my own." "You have come home to make a decision?" With a sigh, Britta nodded. "That is all I will say for the moment. Will you help me dress?" Kay came forward and reached for the garments. "I will pray for you." Her words touched Britta's heart. How long had it been since someone had offered to help her in that way? "Oh, it's so good to have you home," Britta's mother told her. "You're awfully thin, though. Are you feeling well?" Lydia Lindquist had always worried over her children, but as the youngest, Britta found that she received more than her share of attention, especially now after such a long absence. "I'm fine, truly I am." She reached for another piece of toasted bread, as if to assure her mother. "I eat as much as Dalton." The reference to her brother gave Britta the perfect excuse to change the subject. "Speaking of Dalton, I understand that his boat business has expanded considerably in the last few years." "Your brother has a good eye for design. Not only that, but he's acquired some very talented employees. Most are Tlingit and were trained at the Sheldon Jackson School." "What about father? Is he working with Dalton too?" "Oh, on occasion, if there's a need. But mostly he just takes care of this place. I've encouraged him to relax more, but he isn't much inclined to sit idle." "I can imagine. Dalton said they sometimes deliver boats together. That's right. In fact, they're going to deliver one to San Francisco together in March. How nice for them.